Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, traders from across the globe, and welcome to the 1612th edition of Short-Term Trading Live with Oscar. Good evening, traders. This 1612th installment of these educational videos is coming at you on a Wednesday night for trading Thursday, April 27th, 2017. Traders, I want to show you a couple of things. This video is coming to you very early on a Wednesday evening because unlike yesterday's Omni, which was green and worked out really well for us on Wednesday, Thursday's Omni is slightly tricky but is red. So you must know that futures trading is extremely risky, causes substantial financial loss, especially in thin markets. The use of stops can create heavy slippage in the liquid markets. So please make sure that you're trading the thickly traded markets, especially when using stops. Always place stops. Always place your stops first. It is what will keep you alive if you freeze when these markets move. All right, traders. So you can find me in my free live trading room at livewithoscar.com if you want to hang out with me. But let me explain what's going on. The Dow Jones Transportation Average is deemed the leader in many, many instances of the U.S. indices, which means in the end, overall, the Dow Jones Transportation Average tends to lead the big moves, the big bull markets, the big bear markets, the big monthly, intermonthly swings over the course of time. The title to that leader is the Dow Jones Transportation Average. So it earns the title of the leader of U.S. indices, but of course, take that with a grain of salt. Not every day will the transportation average be the leader. This is an overall concept. So the leader has a red Omni, and watch what happens here. We hover above this Omni average for quite some time. Hover above, get back down to it, pop, get back down to it, big pop, move around, get back down to it, and break. Ooh, different. Didn't break here, here, or here, but it breaks here. Goes down, goes back up, fails to get above it, breaks down again. Rallies back up, does get above it, but in a failure fashion. Look at that. That, if you ask me, is a failure. That's why I got my little Pac-Man up here. That's a failure. We're back below the average. If that's the leader, and we know we have a gap below, the leader's got a red Omni, the emini, S&P, NASDAQ, and the other markets left a big, wide old gap underneath, it gets more interesting. If this is our leader, what do you see right here? What just happened in between these two lines I'm about to draw for you? This was a gap. Let me make that a little darker, turn it red, stay with me on this. This was the gap in the Dow Jones Transportation Average. And look what happened to it. It got filled. It just about got filled. It's just a little teeny bit away from getting filled on Wednesday. Now, once again, if this is the leader and it filled its gap, the likelihood is the S&P might do the very same thing. Found that interesting, wanted to show it to you. With the S&P in mind, let's go look at that chart. E-mini S&P. Look what happens here. Remember the big channel that we had for quite some time? And we fell out of the channel, so let me darken that first. Big blue channel. Had it for a long time. Fell out of the channel here. Rallied back up. Failed at the channel. And there's a gap below. And gaps, if you look at this S&P chart, if we go back, gaps are not customary. Gaps do not last long. Gaps get filled within 1 to 2 days. Even this little one got filled here within 2 days. The gaps, if you can find any, which are rare, do not last on the S&P chart. So we did this video for you a couple of days in a row. I'm not going to do it again. Let's move forward. Now that we know about gaps and we know that we failed at the channel, there is a gap below. And what else? This is a possible double top. Not a single person in my chat room, no one I spoke to today, nobody else picked up on this being a double top. I'm surprised at you Omniacs. I didn't hear it from anybody, but this is a very possible double top with a gap below. And as you've seen, the leader already went and filled that gap. That to me is interesting enough to present that case to you. We will be very, very nimble, but we will be trying to sell a rally, not where we are now, but we will be looking to sell a rally if one comes early into the session in your E-mini S&P. Red Omni to start the session off. We're expecting a gap fill. I don't think you get more out of this market than a gap fill and back up. So be careful and be nimble. But I wanted to make sure you seen that. Remember, meet me in my free live trading room at livewithoscar.com. Let's go look at another chart. Look at this bad boy. Let me get it into focus for you. So here's another, if you ask me, market that's at what I like to call basically a quagmire, a standstill. What's going on here? Well, we keep hovering around this 200 ball moving average, right? Bouncing through, bouncing through. Look where it was at the close right here on Wednesday. And we are below the big channel. And that channel doesn't get breached that often from when it started. It basically maintained itself top and bottom all the way through this rally, right? Maintained, maintained, stayed inside the channel, maintained up here, but then down here, you break. And we're at the 200. So we've got a red Omni. We're below the channel. We are testing the 200 ball moving average. So what I'm trying to tell you is these two forces are going against one another. This is bullish. So let me just explain what's going on here. Being above the 200 ball moving average is bullish. No two ways about it. You're bullish if you can stay above the 200 ball moving average. At the same time, it didn't last above it for very long. It's already pounding away on it. We are below the channel, and we've got a red Omni. That, my friends, is the opposite. That is bearish. So you've got a fight going on here, a bit of a quagmire where good bearish stuff going on, but everybody watches the 200 ball moving average. I say we go with the Omni and let the chips fall where they may. That is why we prefer to use stops. We use stops in everything that we do. And if we're wrong, we will be stopped out. We will get up, wipe off our knees, get back on our bicycles and on to the next trade, right? Head down, nose to the grindstone, on to the next trade is our motto. So if this doesn't work, so be it. Our stops will be in. I want you to search your soul before selling this gold. Please search your soul before selling gold because we are hovering above the 200 ball moving average. But you got the red Omni, you are below the channel. Be sure you agree if you're going to sell gold. All right, traders, so remember this. That tranny's supposed to be the leader, the transportation average, and it looks like it's trying to, if it didn't already consider this, gap filled. So interesting happenings here with the red Omni on the leader starting off for Thursday. Come join me in my free live trading room at livewithoscar.com. Remember, no credit cards are required. And don't forget, keep your emotions out of trading. One of the best things you can do to help keep those emotions at bay, in my opinion, is say this to yourselves every morning, every afternoon, every evening. And you know what that is. Stops are in. Emotions are out. Rock and roll traders. I will see you all at livewithoscar.com.